Tonight, KFDM News has learned of a plan to take the fight against human trafficking to a new level in Southeast Texas.
Some studies show human trafficking is the fastest growing criminal industry in the world. Experts say it happens right before our eyes, but many of us don't know what to look for nor how to stop it. KFDM's Lauren Huet is investigating. And Lauren, what are we learning tonight?
Greg, a lot of us drive on I-10 every day, but many don't know it's the main human trafficking corridor in the United States. Now, there is no human trafficking task force here in Southeast Texas, but several groups are working to change that. It's hard to calculate how many human trafficking victims travel I-10 each day.
Obviously, coming through Houston, heading toward Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia is another big hub for trafficking. There's just no telling how many go through.
Darla Daigle is the education specialist at the Rape and Suicide Crisis Center of Southeast Texas. She says I-10 is the main corridor in the U.S. for moving human trafficking victims.
Houston is the international hub for the human trafficking, and that's one of the reasons it's got an international airport.
Some victims can be forced to work, but most are forced into prostitution. Daigle says sex traffickers often stop at truck stops or rest stops for business.
Because it does happen a lot at truck stops. There are also a lot of rest stops in Texas, and they can traffic the girls easily and make breaks and stops.
Daigle says some victims are from other countries.
Smuggled people are willingly coming across and paying. However, a lot of them also then become traffic victims when the smuggler decides to keep their paper and say, well, you still owe me so much money.
Others are Americans.
Runaways, it's 1 in 3 of them are picked up by a trafficker within 48 hours. There's 450,000 runaways in America every year.
Daigle is working to start a human trafficking task force in Southeast Texas.
As a force of different agencies, we're wanting to see where we all fit into this puzzle of recognizing it, stopping it, and helping the victims.
2 students at Lamar University want to be a part of that task force. They started the group Blind No More in November.
We started it especially in this area just because the lack of awareness on sex trafficking. People think that either it doesn't happen or that it happens just overseas.
Daigle says working together in a task force is essential to fighting human trafficking.
Because without that, we don't have the connection to get these victims when we do pull them out of the lifestyle and try to help them and get them back in a normal life.
If you believe a man, woman, or child is a human trafficking victim, call the national hotline. That number is 1-888-373-7888. Some of the signs someone may be a victim: if you don't see them outside a lot, if they're usually kept inside a building or a home, if they're uncomfortable and don't talk to anyone when outside, and if you see a lot of people coming and going from that home or building late at night. The Beaumont Police Department says they do have a sergeant that's a member of the state human trafficking task force. And if a Southeast Texas task force is created, they'd like to be a part of it. Reporting live in Beaumont, Lauren Huet, KFDM 6 News.